Egypt, Lee Jae-myung, President of the Friendly Republic of Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to welcome His Excellency President Lee on his first visit to Egypt. This visit comes within the framework of our shared desire to advance relations between our two countries and coincides with the celebration this year of 3 decades since the establishment of the diplomatic relations between Korea and Egypt. Throughout these years, we have witnessed the development of cooperative and friendly relations between our two nations based on mutual respect, support for peace, development, and prosperity, reaching the level of a comprehensive cooperative partnership. Egyptian-Korean relations represent a bridge of civilizational and cultural communication, and they also present a model for economic cooperation based on maximizing mutual benefit from the capabilities and energies of our two countries. Building on this common ground, His Excellency President Lee and I discussed today all aspects of the bilateral relations between Egypt and Korea, especially in the field of economic cooperation and participation of Korean companies in many important projects in Egypt. I seize this opportunity to invite them to expand their businesses and investments. I also invite new Korean companies to enter the Egyptian market and benefit from the promising opportunities it offers. During our talks, we agreed on the importance of taking executive steps to launch further cooperation in various fields, including artificial intelligence, communication, and information technology, especially that this sector is cross-cutting and contributes in increasing productivity and expanding business in several areas. We also encourage the Korean business sector to establish or to benefit from the sector of petrochemicals and to benefit from the Korean capabilities in this field, especially in Suez Canal Economic Zone, in addition to attracting specialized Korean companies in the field of automobile production and other factories in Egypt to benefit from the investment incentives offered by the Egyptian government in these sectors. We also positively discussed the proposal to establish a Korean university specialized in science and technology in Egypt, in addition to studying the possibility of establishing Korean schools in Egypt, aiming to transfer experience and exchange expertise. We also signed 2 memoranda of understanding between our two countries in the fields of culture and education. Ladies and gentlemen, our discussions today also touched upon international and regional issues of common interest. We agreed on the necessity of promoting a global culture of peace, supporting stability in the Middle East and in the Korean Peninsula. In addition to intensifying the global efforts to address current challenges, on top of them, terrorism, fighting pandemics, and addressing the negative impacts of climate change and adhering to the provisions of the international law and the purposes of UN Charter. In this context, I reviewed Egypt's effort related to maintaining regional security and stability, which were recently crowned by reaching a ceasefire in Gaza Strip throughout the agreement signed in Sharm el-Sheikh, a peace summit on October 13, 2025, with a broad international attendance. I explained to His Excellency President Lee Egypt's steadfast position based on the importance of the two-state solution to achieve a permanent, comprehensive, and just peace, pointing to our aspiration for more countries for the recognition of two-state solution, in addition to our appreciation to Korea's active participation in the reconstruction of Gaza. I reiterate my welcome to His Excellency President Lee. And before giving the floor to His Excellency the President, allow me to extend my greetings and appreciation to His Excellency the President during his first visit to Egypt and for the great spirit and political will to develop cooperation between the two countries. I say to His Excellency the President that we in Egypt share this will, and we are prepared to provide all the facilities for Korean companies, but not only to the Korean companies, but also for the various Korean sectors to cooperate with us in the different fields we discussed, either economic, commercial, cultural, or military fields. Once again, I welcome His Excellency the President, and I would be delighted to visit South Korea again after 9 years since my first visit, and I wish you all the best. The floor is yours, Your Excellency. Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, thank you so much for your speech. Egyptian citizens, thank you so much for welcoming me during this visit. We now will establish new relations between Egypt and Korea. It's a pleasure to meet you all in this very important place. This is my first visit to Egypt that coincides with the 30th anniversary for the relations between Korea and Egypt, and I'd like to extend the deep thanks and appreciation to His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and all the officials for the great reception and hospitality. Despite the geographic distance between Korea and Egypt, the cooperation between both countries has been very close, based on mutual respect and trust in the different sectors and fields, including economy, culture, and education. Today, myself and His Excellency President Sisi reviewed the relations between both countries over the past 30 years. After the establishment of the diplomatic relations, we agreed on mutual cooperation between our both nations for peace and stability. Based on this mutual understanding, we agreed on establishing bases for cooperation for the development for the future generations and enhancing the culture of both nations worldwide, and to achieve peace in the Korean Peninsula and in the Middle East. I will review the most important points for today's talks. First of all, Korea and Egypt agreed on the importance of maintaining international peace, including peace in the Korean Peninsula and in the Middle East. We have shared our deep point of view on the developments in the Korean Peninsula and the Middle East. The President Sisi praised the efforts of our government for peace and peaceful coexistence in the Korean Peninsula. From my side, I expressed my appreciation to the Egyptian efforts for the ceasefire and reconstruction of Gaza Strip and achieving peace in the Middle East. My government will commit to the cooperation agreements with Egypt in order to solve the humanitarian crisis of refugees in Gaza Strip. We agreed on the importance of the roles played by both countries to achieve peace in the Korean Peninsula and in the Middle East. We also agreed on the importance of continuous cooperation to achieve global peace. We have also established the basis of cooperation between both countries in different fields. Egypt provides the largest industrial base in North Africa, and it's a hub linking between Africa, Asia, and Europe. The Republic of Korea has a long experience in development and industry and hosts a big number of esteemed international companies. Based on this mutual understanding, we agreed on establishing talks for reaching comprehensive economic cooperation based on an institutional framework to expand the cooperation between both countries. This agreement is considered a very important economic framework, supports cooperation between both countries, and we agreed on the principles of a comprehensive economic deal to be signed as soon as possible. We also agreed on cooperation in in different economic fields, and we also work on social solidarity agreement between Korea and Egypt, and we agreed to work on the final procedures for the conclusion of this agreement to achieve tangible benefits for the peoples of both countries. Third, we agreed on establishing a partnership based on mutual benefit in the field of education, based on our realization of the importance of education in achieving stability and development in the society. His Excellency President El-Sisi showed his great interest in the Korean experience that achieved the prosperity in the field of education. Thanks to this mutual understanding, we managed to sign a memorandum of understanding in the field of education between our two nations. During this visit, we will enhance the cooperation in the fields of science, Korean language, vocational education, and technical education. We are looking forward for sharing experience and mutual knowledge in the field of education in both Egypt and Korea. We have also established a memorandum of understanding to establish a digital knowledge center in Egypt during this visit. We also agreed on expanding cultural cooperation between Korea and Egypt, since Korea and Egypt are very prosperous in this field. In this Egypt, there is a huge popularity for the Korean culture, including K-drama and K-pop in Egypt. Cultural cooperation between both countries play a very important role in the mutual cooperation. For this purpose, we have signed a memorandum of understanding to enhance cooperation in the audiovisual arts and museums and libraries. We hope that this memorandum of understanding would contribute to increase the mutual exchange of culture between both peoples. Of course, the Korean people will have the opportunity to know about the Egyptian knowledge and Egyptian civilization. We have also agreed on cooperation in the field of military industries, and I expressed that I hope that we expand cooperation in the field of military industries represented in the mutual production of K9 and FE-50 training airplanes. His Excellency President Sisi showed great trust in the advanced defense technology of Korea, and we agreed on enhancing cooperation in different fields, including the mutual military production. I'd like again to thank His Excellency President Sisi for the hospitality and warm reception, and we will exert our best efforts for achieving cooperation in all the fields that we have signed memoranda of understanding for, so both peoples will tangibly see the fruits of this cooperation. During this visit, we agreed upon establishing a hotline to discuss the procedures of following up these agreements and the memoranda of understanding. If His Excellency President Sisi visits Korea once again after 9 years of his first visit, I hope that His Excellency President would see himself the development and the progress that took place in South Korea. We will have talks about the means of cooperation as soon as possible. Thank you so much.